We're that much closer to the Super Bowl, the NBA trading deadline. It was this afternoon, and of course, Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp, has got another internet breaker. Before it was Cat Williams. This time, it's comedian Monique. Oh, my goodness. There's always so much to say, which means Stephen A's going to have something to say. Right now, let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, a special edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, because I'm usually coming at you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over the digital airwaves of YouTube, but this would happen to be a Thursday afternoon, and I'm coming from you over the digital airwaves of YouTube on this particular day because it is the NBA trading deadline. The Super Bowl is 3 days away, and of course, we've got another epic interview by Club Shay Shay himself, the one and only Shannon Sharp. Before I was talking to Cat Williams, this time is talking to Monique, but you'll be very, very surprised at some of the things that I want to touch on, and I have to touch on, which I will get into it. Once again, thanks to all my supporters out there and the folks that are supporting the show. We've now exceeded 545,000 subscribers in the first 10 and a half months right here over the digital airwaves of YouTube. Thank you so much for the love. Keep it coming, and I'm going to keep on coming. Let me get right into this right now because I want to get in to Shannon Sharp and her interview, or his interview with Monique, because there's a lot to touch on in regards to that. But before I get to that, let me talk about the Super Bowl first and then the NBA trading deadline. This Super Bowl can go either way. The San Francisco 49ers, as far as I'm concerned, are vulnerable in their secondary. Their defense hasn't looked as stout as we thought it would. And as a result, when you take into account Kansas City's offense led by Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, even though you led the league in drops with about 44 to 45 drops this season, they haven't been dropping the football in the playoffs. So which offensive team for the Kansas City Chiefs is going to show up come Super Bowl 58 this Sunday night? That's the real question. I don't know what the answer to that is because, damn it, I don't know if Valdez-Scantling is going to drop another touchdown pass. I don't know if this kid Rice, who seems to be big time, I don't know if he's going to mess up. I don't know if Kadarius Toney, who's been screaming about the fact that he's not really injured, highlighting the fact that he's been benched, reminding everybody that he produced in the Super Bowl last year with a touchdown and a long punt return, is capable of helping this team win and would like to do so again and play in the big game. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I will tell you this. Patrick Mahomes is that dude. Travis Kelce is that dude. Andy Reid is a Hall of Fame coach. And this defense, one of the youngest in the National Football League, led by an elite defensive coordinator in Steve Spagnuolo, is no joke. And so when I look at San Francisco, they may have better offensive personnel in CMC, as in Christian McCaffrey, in Deebo Samuels, in Brandon Ayuk, in George Kittle, with Kyle Shanahan calling plays. What I find myself leaning on is the fact that if you're the San Francisco 49ers, because your defense could be a bit suspect, because Patrick Mahomes is on the other side of the football, you might want to do everything you can to put up points in bunches. Can they do that against this Kansas City Chiefs defense? I don't know the answer to that question. That, to me, is going to determine the outcome of this Super Bowl. We'll get more into that tomorrow. The other thing that I want to get into today is on the NBA side. And I'm going to be a bit biased here because the NBA trading deadline obviously was today. And we have to take into account into strong consideration what we're witnessing right now. I'm looking at a couple of things that have transpired. I'm talking to some people, and everybody's been talking about the Boston Celtics. Well, they're the team that's got some things going on. They should be the favorites, but I'm looking at a team shooting nearly 45 threes a game. I'm not sold on them. They're talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, damn it, they can't play defense, and they're 1-4 with Doc Rivers as their new head coach. Okay? I'm looking at the Miami Heat. They don't seem to be what they were last year. I have some concerns. The Philadelphia 76ers, they made a trade today. They acquired Buddy Hield, okay? And in acquiring Buddy Hield from Indiana, everybody's looking at that, and they're saying, well, you know what? That puts the Philadelphia 76ers in a pristine position. No, it doesn't, because Joel Embiid is hurt. As far as I'm concerned, without Joel Embiid, the Sixers are absolutely nothing. That doesn't mean Tyrese Maxey is nothing. We know he's an all-star playing at a high level. And acquiring Buddy Hield, that is a big deal. No doubt about that. They moved Patrick Beverley to Milwaukee. I think he's going to buffer them defensively, not to mention infuse a different kind of energy and toughness in that locker room, which could potentially serve them well. So I can't summarily dismiss Milwaukee with Giannis and with Dame Dollar. But here's my thing. I'm a New York Knicks fan. through and through. And here's what I'm seeing when I look at the New York Knicks right now. For everybody that knows, or that doesn't know, but that needs to know. The New York Knicks made a deal. And they made a deal with the Detroit Pistons. And they sent 4 players to the Detroit Pistons: Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, Quentin Grimes, Ryan Arcidiacono, and 2 future second-round picks. Why is that a big deal? Because the Knicks retained all 8 of their tradable first-round picks, 4 unprotected, 4 protected. I'm very happy as a Knicks fan that they kept a hold of those first-round picks. Let me take it a step further. In Bojan Bogdanovic, ladies and gentlemen, this is a scorer. This is a brother that shoots from the outside. He's 3 deep. This is what he brings to the table. I'm very, very happy about this deal. 20.2 points per game, 41.5% from three-point range, averaging 20 points per game for the 3rd time in his last 5 seasons. He is somebody the Knicks have coveted for a long time. They finally got him. He's a career 39.5% shooter from 3, a career 15.8 per game scorer. He's exactly what they needed. An outside shooter, an outside sniper with some decent size on him. Okay, that doesn't leave you at the mercy of relying on Julius Randle to jack up long-range shots from one corner or the other. I'm not throwing shade on Julius Randle. I'm just saying I don't need to see that this postseason. Whenever he gets back from his dislocated or separated shoulder injury. Jalen Brunson is that dude. We know what he brings to the table. OG Anunoby has elevated them to being the top defensive team in defensive efficiency in the league since he has arrived. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the fact that the New York Knicks have a backup guard in Alec Burks, who's a 12.6 per game scorer, who also shoots 40% from three-point range in 43 games off the bench for the woeful Detroit Pistons this year. Listen, if you look at Tibbs, as in Tom Thibodeau, the head coach for the New York Knicks, this guy, Alec Burks, was one of Tibbs' favorites. When he was with the Knicks, excuse me, he averaged 12 points on 41% shooting from 3 over 2 seasons. There's history here. So he knows what Thibodeau likes, knows what Thibodeau needs. Thibodeau knows what he's getting in him. You got that backup point guard now that you had lost Emmanuel quickly by trading him and R.J. Barrett to the Toronto Raptors. We're all good. We're all good. But where does this leave the Knicks? New York Knicks got a shot to go to the conference finals. Their health seems to be a question mark. But the New York Knicks can make a possible run. If Mitchell Robinson comes back, if Julius Randle comes back healthy, which are both probabilities, Jalen Brunson is in there with OG, with Bojan Bogdanovic, and the way the New York Knicks play defense, they got a chance, ladies and gentlemen. They got a chance. Number to call as always is 888-SAS-5303. That's 888-727-5303. I'm not going to take any calls today, but I want you to know that number for future reference, because when I'm back in studio, I will be taking those calls. You can tweet into me personally. You go to my Twitter handle at Stephen A. Smith, and I'll take some of your questions about that. I see some folks standing outside. I'm going to go outside a little bit later and do a Q&A with some folks. I'm looking forward to that as well. Like a little man on the street inside the Wynn Hotel, right outside Blue Wire Studios, which is where I'm doing this show from as we speak. And that's something that I wanted to get into. I'm going to transition from this to a subject that's going on right now that's percolating. And I'm going to revisit it a little bit later on in the show, but I'm going to start the conversation now. And it's going to be an extreme left turn from the world of sports to the world of pop culture and entertainment. And that would be my man Shannon Sharpe and his interview with comedian and Oscar award-winning star Monique, because he did a sit-down with her for his club Shay Shay podcast recently. And to say that it was a bit similar to Cat Williams, it was in this regard. It was 3 hours long. Cat Williams' interview with Club Shay Shay was nearly 3 hours long. Not only was it 3 hours long, it involved a lot of ridicule, a lot of calling out. And to be quite honest with you, it highlighted a lot of issues that are going on in the comedic world yet again. And some would say it's taken an extreme turn where it's so tinged with negativity, it's made folks, particularly in the Black community, uncomfortable. Now, to give you an example of the kind of thing that I'm alluding to, I want you to listen right now to Monique sitting down with Shannon Sharpe. And in this instance, talking about superstar comedic individual, Mr. Kevin Hart. Listen to this.
I said, good shit, Kevin, because we're in a deal with Endemol. And we're trying to get our talk show back. Mo, whatever it is, I got you. Now, Kevin Hart is one of the biggest entertainers right now in the world,
Correct.
right? And was then. We got off the phone with Kevin Hart. We called Endemol immediately and said, Kevin Hart said, whatever we want to do, he got us. He's going to partner executive use. They was like, oh, this is incredible because when you put Kevin Hart's name on it, you already know what it is.
Correct.
2 weeks go by. We get a call from Endemol. Endemol says, we just got a call from Kevin Hart's manager, Dave Becky. And Dave Becky said, Kevin doesn't want anything to do with Monique. So whatever she told y'all, he doesn't want to do anything with her, nothing. You know, he doesn't want any kind of relationship with Monique.
So what transpired, or what do you think transpired between then, that 2 week period?
I called Kevin Hart immediately. I said, hey, baby, we just got off the phone with Endemol, and they said Dave Becky called them up and said, you don't want anything to do with me. He said, Mo, that's a miscommunication. I can tell you right now. I said, wait a minute. Are you okay, though, with this white man calling them up? Getting in between our relationship after something you said. He said, Mo, that's a miscommunication, and we're going to talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you right now, it's a miscommunication. That was 2 years ago. If you talk to him, I talk to him. I've never talked back to Kevin Hart again.
Before I go any further, that wasn't the only person she talked about. She talked about Steve Harvey. She talked about Oprah Winfrey. She talked about Tyler Perry, amongst others. And not only did she do that, she also spoke about Taraji B. Henson. Remember recently, Taraji B. Henson made news because she was tearful, talking about being underpaid as a Hollywood star, a black female actress. And she became very emotional and very transparent in her frustration and alluded to some things in regards to Oprah and others. And Monique in the past has pounced on that opportunity, and certainly she didn't hesitate to do so here. Here is what she said, alluding to Oprah Winfrey when talking about Taraji B. Henson's and her dilemma. Take a look.
So when you see our sister go through that, you see her go through, and we act like our eyes didn't see what it saw when we watched that promotion happen with The Color Purple.
Right.
We wanted to act like we didn't see how Oprah Winfrey treated Taraji. In my humble opinion, when you saw her walk up, you saw that there was tension. You saw that there was something happening.
Right.
And then when you see Taraji write her a love letter, it's like, listen, we got to stand tall and stand strong on what we know. We know you were mistreated. We know it wasn't right. We know it was unfair. And then you turn around and say, oh, but Lady O handled it. I have a problem with that.
Now, here's the deal. Before I go to break, let me say something. This is not a comfortable conversation for me. In the interest of full disclosure, Cat Williams has always been cool with me, always been a gentleman when I've met him. Steve Harvey is a friend and a brother. Kevin Hart is a friend and a brother. I don't know Cedric the Entertainer that well, but I've known him well enough where I've interviewed him several times over the years, and we are very friendly with one another. I once had the pleasure of being interviewed on Monique's show, where she had her own show, Monique, on BET, when I was a guest there many years ago. And I've been a long-time admirer of her work, her artistry. She is a brilliant talent, both comedically and just overall as an actress. She is spectacular. And what has happened to her, or what appears to have happened to her, what she believes has happened to her, in terms of being blackballed, in terms of being pigeonholed and marginalized, it's not comfortable to hear, it's not comfortable to watch. I don't like it at all. I root for her. But the first order of business that I'm going to do before I get in to the specifics of everything that they've had to say is I'm going to say this. It's become problematic. And somebody has to say it, so I'm going to say it. It's become problematic for black people. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. We're starting to look really, really bad. And some would say, Stephen A., what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean start? We've been making ourselves look bad for quite some time. Now, for those athletes out there, former athletes, you know, because the people that tried to look at me and would sit up there and would say, Stephen A., you know, selling out, seller, I can't stand his ass, blah, 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 blah. Bump them. They full of it. You were performing on a court or the field of play. I called you out for your performance, and that was that. That wasn't black on black crime. If you are a player and you're getting your ass kicked by somebody who's dropping 40 or 50 on you, and I call it out, and that person happens to be black, how am I knocking down my community? Because I point out the fact that you put your talents on public display, is getting your ass kicked. It's my obligation to point out that you're getting your ass kicked, and that's all that happened. That ain't selling out. That's covering sports. And you happen to be somebody who's chosen to participate in sports in a public forum who didn't live up to what people's expectations were. And we talking somebody, I mean, it could be Kwame Brown, it could be T.O., it could be somebody. I talked sports. I didn't get into anybody's personal life, characterizing and castigating anybody. That's not selling out. That's doing my job of covering sports. It's not Monique's job to do what she just did. It wasn't Cat Williams' job to do what he did on Club Shay Shay weeks ago that now has over 68 million views, by the way. It wasn't their job to call out Kevin Hart and Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Ricky Smiley, Michael Blackson, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry. It wasn't their job. That was a choice. A choice that extended far beyond the corridors of their job. That now has Black America taking sides and looking at one another with an elevated level of skepticism and disgust, while having others outside of our community look at us that way as well. And that's a subject that we're going to tackle on the Stephen A. Smith Show today. We're not running from this. We're going to talk about it. Whether it's Monique, it's Cat Williams, or even if it's my brother, Shannon Sharp for Club Shay Shay. I got a lot to say. A whole lot. It's about time that it gets addressed in a manner that it deserves. So stick around. This is Stephen A. Smith. You are listening and watching the Stephen A. Smith Show over the digital airwaves of YouTube. I'm coming back with more in a minute. Football season is reaching its crescendo, and PrizePicks has created an offer for the big game you do not want to miss. If Patrick Mahomes throws for 1 yard in the Super Bowl, a preposterous no-brainer if you ask me, you'll get a win on your PrizePicks entry. This offer is just another reason why PrizePicks is taking over the nation, and now is America's #1 fantasy sports app. All you have to do is select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection, and place your entry in less time than it'll take for Kelsey to score a touchdown and dance in the end zone. Join the PrizePicks community of more than 3 million members today, and PrizePicks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the PrizePicks app and use code SAS. Those are my initials, of course. That's code SAS on PrizePicks for a first deposit match of up to $100. PrizePicks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airwaves of YouTube. I know I promised I was going to get into what I had to say about Shannon Sharp and these interviews, and I will, absolutely, but I got to go to this next man first. I mean, you've seen him star on Blackish. You've seen him in the second version of Color Purple. You damn sure have seen him in the Old Spice commercials. You know what I'm saying? Tears stream down. That's what it does. That's what it does. I'm talking about the comedic genius himself, the one and only Deon Cole, is right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. I can't wait to talk to this brother about all of this stuff. This brother is funny as hell. Saw him on Blackish a lot. See him in movies, Color Purple as well, doing a few things. The one and only Deon himself. How you doing, my man? How's everything going?
Great, man. How you doing, Steve?
It's. I would say it's good to see you because it always is good to see you. It's unfortunate that I got to see you right now when this stuff is percolating and ask you about this stuff. My thoughts, or rather, just my question to you, your thoughts about all of this stuff that you've been hearing, whether it be Cat Williams on Club Shay Shay, now Monique on Club Shay Shay. What's your reaction on behalf of yourself and people you know in the comedic community who have been witnessing what we've been witnessing?
Well, what a lot of comics are saying right now is everybody's going, this is bad for us and all that. But a lot of comics are going, this is genius. Mm-hmm. For some of them, they're going like, they're selling tickets, not like they wasn't, but even more. You know what I mean? They're like selling tickets to like shows like never before. And, as bad as it is, it's also, it's a lot of people that probably wasn't super relevant, but now everybody want to talk to him and see him and all that. So it's kind of like, I don't know how to really look at this. Yeah, it's division in it, definitely, but a lot of people that wasn't talked about are being talked about now.
Mike Epps joked about it, and he was talking about, damn, I was mad Cat Williams didn't mention my name. I mean, I think I could use some clicks. And he made fun out of it and was talking about how we're all comedians and what have you. But you haven't heard Steve Harvey speak much about it. He can't be happy with it. Kevin Hart wasn't happy with it. Mm-hmm. I heard that Ricky Smiley was very emotional and upset about what was said about him by Cat Williams. Mm-hmm. One can only imagine what Oprah and Tyler Perry and people like that feel about what Monique has to say. Mm-hmm. Folks in the Black community, some, not all, have asked this question. How does this make us look? I've had my comments about it. What are your comments to that question? How does this make us look?
I mean, it's not a good look. Definitely isn't a good look or whatever, but, that's what happened with Black folks from the beginning of time. There was always division from you can't curse on this show, right?
Yes, you can.
From the field Negro to the house Negro. It's always been separation, from light skin to dark skin. Mm-hmm. It's just always that way. And it's always this competition thing amongst us. But, it's room for everybody. And you just gotta, what I wish everybody do is find another path, just find another way to get it.
Well, we're saying everybody. The reality is that when it comes to Monique, we haven't heard Tyler Perry or Oprah speak much about her. When it came to Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart stuff, we haven't heard them speaking about Cat Williams, but Cat Williams clearly felt the need to speak about everybody. So is it a situation where from a community or a cultural perspective in the comedic world, we're seeing a lot of this going on? Or are these two individuals standing out as being separate and apart and an aberration of what is the norm in that community?
I think what happened just now with Cat Williams, I think that is the beginning of what's about to come. It's about to be disastrous out here. I promise you. Everybody saw what that man did and sat back and was like, yo, he got 50 million, 60 million views. Watch what I say. It's about to get stupid around here, and everybody better brace themselves. If you tripping over that, everybody gonna be doing it because they found a new way to be famous. They found a new way to be relevant. People gonna do that. And I know Cat well, but I didn't know. I'm quite sure he didn't know the magnitude of what went down. Mm-hmm. It was just, the timing happened and it went good. I think he knew what he was gonna do, but I didn't think he knew he was gonna do like that. And as you see, Monique did it too. And it was like all this viral stuff. And even if you look at Jay-Z at the Grammys speaking his truth, it went viral. Everybody's paying attention to who's getting this attention now. Yeah. And everybody's seeing how they can get it, and they're just spewing what they have to say.
Well, the attention is one thing, but when you bring up Jay-Z, I saw nothing factually incorrect about what he said.
Absolutely
because
not.
He was talking about, Beyonce, that beautiful lady over there alluding to his wife, 32 Grammys, never won album of the year.
No.
The metrics, it just don't add up. To me, that's significantly less incendiary that some of the things that have been said. And I'm not saying Cat Williams is lying. I'm not saying that Monique is lying, but I certainly am in no position to say that they're telling the truth. And so as a result of that, when you get personal and you highlight the things in detail that they have highlighted, you're saying it's about to get like that, where people are just going to say shit and they don't give a damn.
I'm saying this. I'm saying that people are looking at what's making them viral. I'm not saying what they're saying is true and what's not true and what is, what's not. I'm saying that they're looking at what Cat Williams did and went, Then they looked at what Jay-Z said and was like, And they looked at what Monique did and said, These truth speakers or liars, whatever you want to say, they are getting attention and they are getting people coming at them, making them more relevant. They was even relevant and making them even more relevant with what they saying, whether it be truth or lies. Like, I know Kat was saying stuff that I think was true and some of it wasn't true. I think Monique said some stuff that was true and that wasn't true. You know what I mean? But as far as saying something like this is the problem too. We've been in a world of not reality and fake news and fake this and fake that. People want to believe lies so much that when the truth comes, it's shocking. It's shocking for you to tell the truth or say what's on your mind that's really on your mind and not doing what you're supposed to do and being in the line of what you're supposed to do to look out for your endorsements and this and that and the third or whatever and trying to just be something that you're not. These truth speakers, these people saying what, even if it ain't truthful, what they saying on their mind is shocking to people. And what I'm saying, if that's shocking you, I promise you, wait till you see what's about to happen.
But can it get much worse than what Cat Williams did?
Good, man, somebody about to come out here and bombshell the shit out of some motherfuckers. I promise you that's gonna happen. It's coming because people are looking at this pattern. I'm in the comedy clubs. I hear everybody talking about, and they joking, but they not. They like, shit, wait till what I say. I was with Tiffany Haddish recently, and she was like, shit, I'm about to talk about who I was fucking in every city. Watch what happened. Watch what everybody say. And I was like, really? And she was like, ha ha. And I was like, ha ha. And we was like, ha ha. Joe, but for real. Right. Shit, and if she do, goddamn it, shit, here she come with a sold out tour. It's about to get crazy.
I'm thinking along these lines. It can get crazy if it's true. My question is, my fear is, what if it gets crazy if it's lies, devoid of ramifications, where you could say shit and you don't have anything to worry about in terms of retribution? They could threaten to sue you or whatever, but that's just giving more life to the story or more life to an interview or more life to the innuendos or facts or whatever it is that folks throw out there. I'm worried about that. You're not?
Yeah, I'm worried about it, but it's been going on like that for years with politicians. They've been doing that forever. So what's happening now, people are picking up on this and they're going, okay, cool. Lies are being spread constantly. As long as somebody talking about you, that's all anybody care about. You can come back later on and go, I was just kidding about this or I was just kidding about that.
Right.
But at the moment when you're doing that interview, that's what I'm telling you. It is about to get spooky out here. Because everybody about to start saying whatever the fuck is on their mind, and they're going to do it. And there's so many podcasts and there's so many avenues for them to do it. You're just going to hear stuff. And it's going to have to go on for so long until it get played out. And then when it get played out, then everybody going to be off of that and everybody going to believe it. But right now, at the heat of this, man, we'll see who next. I saw my man DL say something on his page about what Monique was saying about him. You know, I was with Sid, hearing about Sid, but everybody been kind of trying to figure out how to even play this, how to even come back.
How to comment on it, whether or not you want to give it life, you want to avoid the subject, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm thinking, do you feel that way because of the subject matter or the person who was talking about you? Because I'm telling you right now, I don't think anybody should want to make an enemy of Cat Williams. That's just not somebody that you want. You don't want to be on Cat Williams' radar. I mean, listen, Monique to a lesser degree. I mean, she's a strong sister, definitely defiant and strong in her beliefs. But Cat's on another level because he's a comedic genius, and that brother is relentless with it. Oh, and you almost get the impression that the entire comedic community is like, damn, we don't like this, but we excuse my language, we don't want to fuck with him.
Right, but
Is that the thinking?
but no, but here's the weird shit. A lot of them about to come at him because they want him to say their name.
So they gonna come after Cat Williams?
Yeah, there's more people gonna come. That's
Because they think. So you telling me
They think
if they talk about him, he may clap back at
He
them,
might clap
and
back.
that gives them some
And
pause.
then, yes.
So he's about to be a target.
Dude, it's about to be a goddamn target. Absolutely. They saw what he did to everybody else. He made a lot of people relevant who wasn't relevant at the time. He can make motherfuckers relevant. That shit Mike Epps said about, man, it was some truth in that.
Right.
Regardless of what Mike was joking about.
Do you think that's why Cat Williams said all the things that he said to Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay? Because listen, to me, again, he's a comedic genius. I love watching him. I love seeing him perform. I can't imagine him not selling out someplace. But in the same breath, you had some people out there saying he did this for publicity. I didn't get that impression looking at Cat Williams at all. But did you?
Cat is going to do him. Cat been selling out shows and doing everything or whatever. But people have been saying, I'm not saying this me, but people were saying that the last run, that the tour that he was about to do, that he was hosting and he was going to play around and do stuff like that. And they said the tickets was great. It was doing great. But I heard that they was like, But then when he did that shit went 100% across the board, every goddamn city, whatever, after he did that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he brought people's names up who wasn't talked about at the same token.
Do you think the Steve Harveys, I remember seeing Kevin Hart clap back on him on a Breakfast Club, but it was in defense of Tiffany Haddish, not himself. Do you think it's the right decision for Kevin Hart, for Cedric the Entertainer, the Ricky Smileys of the world, the Steve Harveys of the world? Do you think it's the wisest decision for them not to clap back?
I mean, it all depends on their situation. You know, I think if a lot of them got endorsements and shit like that, I'd shut the fuck up, just chill, you know, just let it ride off. If you feel like you want to be relevant and say something back, then say something back or whatever. Right. But I feel as though that the truth or not truth that Cat is saying or whatever really has nothing to. It really had nothing to do with them. Cat went on that show, I think, knowing I'm about to talk about. And he's been talking about this for years. Okay. Let's not say he just started talking about this.
That's fair.
He's been saying about that shit about people stealing jokes and all that shit. He's been saying that shit for years. Just like Monique. This ain't new what she was saying. She been saying this shit for years.
About Tyler Perry and Oprah for years.
It's just the fact that right now, this shit is making sense in a mind way and in a dollar way. Is making sense. And so now it's lining up because when she said it before, wasn't really nothing going on. They ain't even listening to her when she was talking about she wasn't getting paid like that. But when Taraji said it, everybody was like, oh, you know, hey, because it was the timing of that.
Right.
So now it's the timing for this. It's time for people to go on there and tell the truth, lie, whatever, in order to get their sense
When
up.
speaking to people in the comedic community and beyond, reacting to Monique's latest interview with Shannon Sharp, Cat Williams' interview weeks ago with Shannon Sharp, which, by the way, has now exceeded 68 million views.
Jesus
and Shannon
Christ.
Sharp's aired the interview with Monique yesterday. And it's already over 5 million as well. So that's going to climb and that's going to break the internet as well. There are people who have looked at those two interviews and they're talking about two individuals they believe is trying to ruin the careers of other people. Is that how it should be perceived, or should it be perceived as these folks are just passionate, they've taken a lot, and they have to vent and let it all out because they don't want to hold it in anymore? What line of thinking do you fall in?
And that's what we talked about recently. I just recently was with Dave Chappelle and D. Ray Davis. We was at the Improv, and Dave was saying that. He was like, the problem that he's having is, why are we tearing each other apart to do this? Right. Even if you had something to say, it ain't what you say, it's how you say
Chris Spencer, the comedic writer, came out with that today. Came out with a clip today talking about the only people that do this to each other are us. That he was saying. Is that
absolutely,
the thinking?
Absolutely. But it's been that way with music and shit too. You don't hear Miley Cyrus talking about motherfucking Taylor Swift. Like, you don't hear that shit, but you hear Nicki and
Cardi B
or the Houston like you hear it's always been like that.
So it's always us.
It's always us. And this get to a point where The unity has to start within, and people got to start going, man, I wish people go, we make more money together. But then some of them be having these beefs in order to come together to make money.
Right.
I wouldn't
So
be
in other words,
surprised.
manufactured conflict?
Man, watch.
Manufactured
I
conflict?
bet you right now on this show, I bet you Meg and Nicki have a song together. Guaranteed.
So you
And that
butt heads with
motherfucker
one
gonna
another,
make another
create
gazillion.
headlines, and then after that you
I
get together
bet they have
and
a
blow up
song
the
together.
spot.
You heard it right here on Stephen
All right.
A. I bet they have a goddamn
Have you seen
song.
that happen in comedy?
In comedy, you know what?
I don't
Have
know
seen
about
that?
it.
I think I have seen. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't
And I
think it
gotta
happened
tell you
in
this
comedy.
too, though. I haven't heard anybody talk about Martin Lawrence. Hadn't heard anybody talk about Eddie Murphy. Hadn't heard anybody talk about Dave Chappelle. Like, I mean,
No.
I mean, of all the things that you're alluding to, I feel you. I know you're right, but I haven't heard those individuals be attacked.
But all those comics dance to the beat of their own drum too. They're a different kind of comic. You can't never really say you're gonna steal a joke from them, because if you do a joke for theirs, it's gonna be hard for you to do it.
Right.
You know, I like comics like that. It's hard for you to do it because your personality is in it. Certain jokes that a comic or write or whatever, it's so like broad and evergreen. They try to make it theirs when it's like anybody could have thought of that.
Right.
Anybody could have thought of that, and you trying to claim it that is yours. Nah, that I don't like jokes that are like evergreen like that. But these comics that you named, they are within their own right. You can't really steal from them like that. You know what I mean? So ain't nobody really gonna be dissing them like that. And ain't nobody really close to them to borrow money from them or get close or have a relationship. Them type of comics, they stand off. You don't see Martin out here kicking it and Instagramming with niggas and shit. You know that Martin be on his own shit. They do his own shit. You know what I mean? So it's different with those level of comedians.
Do you think Monique or Cat Williams has severely tarnished, or dare I say ruined, the career of anyone with these interviews?
Well, I don't think that they tarnished or ended the career. Like I said, everybody is making money. They're relevant. People are selling our shows. People want to hear what they have to say. This is an era of we want to hear what you have to say. So their rebuttal is now turning into money and shit like that. So I don't think they ended the careers of anybody. But what I do want to see, after you said all that shit or online, I want to see everybody's specials. I want to see how funny you are. You talk a lot of shit on mic, but let's see these specials.
So you putting it on the line. You saying that Cat, and especially we talking about Cat in this particular instance, because I think Monique, even though she's a comedian, she's also a tremendous actress. And you just talking about
Great actress.
A great actress. I think she's a great actress. I think you're talking about basically, hey, Cat Williams, as he talked about it, he alluded to eclipsing others and succeeding better than them at stand-up. I don't have to mention the names, he already did. So you're telling me that we're going to see a lot of comedy shows coming out of people going to be challenged to show up and have their own specials, and let's see who's funnier than who. Let's see who resonates more. Let's see who generates more revenue.
Right, but I want to see jokes. That's what I want to see.
You ain't talking about numbers and revenue. You're saying I want to look at you and see what original jokes you have. Are they yours?
I still want what the fuck made me fall in love with you. I want jokes.
Right.
You can tell me what the fuck you want to tell me, whatever. I want jokes, though. Have you spent any time on your craft? I'm not about to pay my money to come see you talk about another motherfucker for 2 hours.
Deon Cole, but what about this? If you're Steve Harvey, you stepped away from stand-up years ago. If you Kevin Hart, you making movies, you a big movie star, that ain't what you doing anymore. There's a different kind of comedic genius that you bring to the table. You might bring it in movies as opposed to stand-up telling jokes.
Right.
I mean, I like everybody ain't Cat Williams. I can watch, I'm telling you right now, there's a whole bunch of people I do not want to see stand up before Cat Williams.
Right.
But Cat Williams in movies, I would rather see some of those other people in movies.
Exactly. But a lot of people, they do stand up until they reach this level, and then they leave stand up alone.
Right.
And then they start tainting. They not doing good over here. Guess where they come back?
Stand up.
They come back to stand up.
Right.
So I leave the shit. My thing is Kevin Hart. I give Kevin a lot of motherfucking praise because that motherfucker stay in the clubs. No matter how many gazillion movies he do, he in the clubs and he working on a new special after new special. However you feel about his specials, it don't matter. He's still working on his specials and he's still writing jokes. And my thing is, I don't want to come to no show where I'm hearing you talking about motherfuckers for 2 hours. I want to hear you do jokes. I want to make me fall in love with you again. This ain't that kind of thing where, like, I remember one time I heard somebody say, a lot of these people making music and everything, it's about how famous you are. It ain't how talented you are.
Right.
They not.
Right.
Everybody's running away. Everybody's running to the money. Music right now, it just sound like money.
Running to the money, running to the music, but not putting in the work.
There's no religion. There's no religion in the songs. When the last time you heard church in a song?
Yeah.
A song that you heard and you was like, man, you don't even feel that no more.
Nothing.
And you don't even feel that like even in comics on stage. Like everybody just sounding like they running after the want to be famous or whatever. Ain't nobody dealing with the craft for what this shit is about. Motherfuckers on stage talking about motherfuckers for 2 hours. Ain't no craft in the writing.
I want to know what you got coming up for you next because I want to make sure it ain't you calling somebody up so you can get 70 billion clicks.
I'm shooting. I'm shooting. Look, it's all love, and whatever you got to do it, and it's all love. If somebody interview me, I'm gonna speak my truth and all that too. If it go viral, fine. If it don't, fine or whatever. But I'm gonna still do what people love me for, which is write jokes and do quality jokes and do what the fuck this shit is supposed to be done. I'm gonna do this shit the way it's supposed to be done. I want people to have a good time. I want people to laugh. Fuck your organization. Fuck your gender, fuck your motherfucking your politics. Just come laugh. Just have a good goddamn time and laugh. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to hold on to as much as possible.
Last question. Do you think you can, considering the attack there has appeared to be on comedy? Because we could talk about Cat Williams, we could talk about Monique, but one of the other things that has been a detriment to comedic success in my mind in the modern era, our level of sensitivity has been so heightened as a society. The shit that we used to laugh at and crack up over, now it might be so offensive in people's eyes, you got to go out and issue an apology. You're going to lose out on money and opportunities are going to be compromised. How can you be a comedian when you got to worry about that on top of the other stuff that we've been talking about involving the likes of a Cat Williams and a Monique to a lesser degree?
When people come to my show, I tell them at the top of the show, if you can't handle dialogue, get the fuck out of here. Because you came to me. How dare you come to me and tell me what the fuck I need to be doing in my gym, in my church? This is my church. This is my congregation. We are here. You can't come in here and tell me that I need to be talking about some other religion when I'm talking about this. This is what we do here. And you fucking it up for everybody that want to hear some fucked up shit. And you want to can't cancel us and all this other stuff. I can't stand that. And I'm be
totally
like, man,
against cancel culture.
Yeah, it's a cancel culture.
Bullshit.
And my thing is, look, if you can't handle that shit, stay out of the kitchen, goddammit. And I understand that we have to alter a lot of things that we say right now, but that's what makes you a great comic as well. Like I said earlier, it ain't what you do, it's how you do it. You got to say that shit the right way in order to reach the masses at this with this level that we are in life.
Appreciate you, baby.
Steve, appreciate you, man. Yes, sir.
Deon Cole right here with Stephen A. Smith. Back with more in a minute. You see what he said. What's that? What you put in the desk box on my desk for?
Just open it.
Man, you couldn't have opened it for me? What? Ah, my new book on paperback. I like it a lot. It works for me. Y'all see this. New foreword and all. Stephen A. in paperback, straight shooter, memoir, second chances and first takes. I haven't gotten over that picture. It does look pretty smooth. I must say so myself. It's a bestseller. I'll hold on to this. Hope you go out and get it. Thank y'all so much for the love and support. Wouldn't be here without you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airwaves of YouTube. As promised, it's time to tackle a subject that I will openly confess I'm not very comfortable tackling. Because I understand where people are coming from, and I don't want to give any extra shine to whatever perspective they have on Mr. Shannon Sharpe himself, but I have no choice. Now, some people would ask the question, why is that? He's a grown-ass man, so are you. He's doing his thing, you're doing your thing. I will remind you that Shannon Sharpe is a major, major contributor to my daytime job, which is First Take on ESPN. And to be quite honest with you, we've grown to become friends. I got a lot of love for the brother. I respect the hell out of him. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion. He's a Hall of Famer. And the reality is that he's doing big things. You can say what you want, but 68 million views for the Cat Williams interview is 68 million views. The first order of business with Monique in this interview in day one, with it being 5 million views, ladies and gentlemen, that's over 73 million views. You can say whatever you want to say. You just can't take away from that reality and what Shannon Sharpe has brought to the table. The flip side to that, however, is that when you do interviews of this nature, we've heard noises emanating from our community because both of us are black men. I'm from the North, New York City. He's from the South. It doesn't matter. As black men, as brothers, as black people, what Deon Cole alluded to on numerous occasions in terms of negativity selling, in terms of us going after one another, what Chris Spencer alluded to when he talked about how nobody does this to one another but black people, it's inescapable. It's a reality. And so as a result of that, I have to answer questions because people have literally asked me, Stephen A., what do you think about how Shannon Sharpe interviewed Cat Williams and Monique? What do you think about the pushback or lack thereof? Why give somebody the platform to come out on your show and say all the things that they've said? I'd be lying if I said those were not legitimate questions. I'd also be remiss in neglecting to inform you that I personally asked Shannon Sharpe to come on this podcast and discuss it. To his credit, although he's not here, he was willing to come on. He just had other commitments because he knows I'm his brother and I'm not trying to backdoor him. And I'm going to say something that a lot of people are not going to like. I don't believe that Shannon Sharpe is just an entertainer. I believe he's a voice. He's a voice in our community that is elevating by the day. He matters. And because he matters, with that level of significance and cachet comes a level of responsibility, some would say. But when you do it to the point where you're trying to act as if he shouldn't have them as guests, or somehow, some way he could have curtailed or edited out what they've said, I'm not going to go that far. Shannon Sharpe is under no obligation to edit or alter genuine thoughts that his guests have on his shows. If that's how they feel, that's how they feel. Now, would I have been a little bit different? Sure, because I'm a trained journalist. And as a result, the level of pushback that I would give, I'm seasoned and trained to do it, spanning 30 years. When Shannon Sharpe was on Club Shay Shay, or Nightcap rather, weeks ago, and he said to Chad Ochocinco during one of his telecasts, I'm not Ed Bradley, the late Ed Bradley, God rest his soul. I'm not 60 Minutes. I'm not 48 Hours. I'm an entertainer. My only retort to him was that you're not just an entertainer, you're a voice. And take that voice into consideration whenever you do whatever it is that you do, so you're never telling somebody that you're just an entertainer. because you're more than that. Outside of that, I have a very, very, very difficult time looking at the day and age that we're living in. Seeing 68 million views here, 5 million views there, over 73 million views for just 2 interviews, and asking somebody to ignore the significance of that, knowing most people wouldn't. Because that's being full of shit. That's not being authentic. Most people wouldn't ignore that. Now, again, I would have pushed back on Cat Williams on several things. Because the personal in which he went about the business of highlighting his attacks and illuminating his attacks against Kevin Hart, against Steve Harvey, against Ricky Smiley, Cedric the Entertainer, Michael Blackson, and others, I would have wanted receipts. I would have had to dig a little more. That's just me. That's just me. Steve Harvey's a friend. Kevin Hart's a friend. If they came on this show right now and they were talking about Cat Williams in the fashion that Cat Williams talked about them, I would have grilled them. Because when you sit in front of this microphone, in front of this camera, my belief is that in pursuit of truth, you have to be objective. Now, you can be subjective once you receive the truth about how you receive it, how you interpret it, how your perspective is, and what you disseminate to the masses. That's fair. But in pursuit of the truth, the objectivity has to come reigning through. There are people who feel like Shannon Sharpe didn't do that. I respectfully disagree. I think he just did it differently than most. When Steve Harvey came on his show, they said what they wanted to say. When Cedric the Entertainer came on the show, they said what they wanted to say. When Cat Williams came on the show, he said what he wanted to say. When Monique came on the show, she said what she wanted to say. We don't know what level of veracity and truth is attached to any of their words or lack thereof, and we have to be real and authentic in that regard. But when somebody wants me to get at Shannon Sharpe, it's not happening. I'm going to support my brother. Even if I think he's wrong, I'm still going to say it, but I'm going to support him anyway. Meaning letting him know I'm always going to look out. But in this particular instance, I think the ire is being pointed in the wrong direction. So many people want to sit up there and talk about, people were famous for doing this to me, coming to me and having expectations they wanted to heap on my shoulders. Why? Because guess what? Now you in this position, Stephen A. But what the hell did you do to get me here? When I was scratching and clawing and climbing my way to this position, where were you then? You didn't do anything for me then, but when I got there, all of a sudden I owe you and us something because I'm in a place you ain't. Nah, I'm not going for that. So in that regard, I'm not going to engage in condemnation. But I did feel a need and an obligation to comment because so much stuff is being said about this man that works with me 2 days a week on ESPN's First Take. And I had to let everybody know where I stood about the man that I brought in to sit across from me 2 days a week. And that's where I stand with that. I'm not saying I agree with everything. I'm certainly not saying I would have done things the way that he's done it. I'm not saying that somebody would come on my platform and have 3 hours to say anything. I don't talk for 3 hours, so I damn sure ain't letting nobody else talk for 3 hours. So we're different in that regard, but I ain't throwing no shade on Shannon because of it. I would do things a little bit differently, but props to him for doing what he's doing in terms of getting the interviews. We can parse and compartmentalize and dissect everything else, but he got the interviews that people clearly wanted to see. And he may believe, let him speak, it's a conversation. And let the public judge. Me as a professional journalist throughout my career, I might think a bit differently. As it pertains to Cat Williams, God bless you. I hope that you continue to be the great comedian that you are. I hope that you were telling the truth, and I hope that somewhere along the way there's some level of compassion, because even if there were things done wrong or there were things done against you or things that you didn't like, I think it's safe to say, Cat Williams, that I don't know if anybody out there wanted to or had the intent to hurt you as much as you seem hell-bent on hurting and humiliating them. And that's something for you to think about, because I got mad love and respect for Cat Williams. He's a hell of a talent, and I wish him nothing but the best. Monique, she's brilliant. She's an Oscar winner. She's sensational. What she did in Precious, her phenomenal acting career, her comedic genius. Monique, I don't know if anybody said this to you, but I'm going to say this to you, and I'm going to say it to you out of love. You always say sisters or brothers when you're talking to black people. Well, this is a brother talking to you, Monique. You look very bitter. You look like the light has been stripped from you. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to call you a liar or anything like that. I don't know. I never asked Steve Harvey or Kevin Hart or anybody or Tyler Perry or Oprah Winfrey and all of this other stuff. I never asked. I don't know. But I know that you're telling stories about Oprah. I'm not saying false stories. I don't know. But you're telling one thing about Oprah. You're telling another thing about Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry leaves you a voice message reportedly, and you're airing the message. Well, how can somebody feel comfortable enough ever talking to you if they think that their messages are going to be disseminated to the masses when it was supposed to be a private conversation? You talked about Kevin Hart and how you were supposed, he said, "I love you, sister. We'll talk in 2 weeks." And then after that, you never heard from him again. Okay. Did you play any role in that? I'm just asking. Did you? I don't know. But when you bring these kind of things up and you talk about Oprah, I'm quite sure Oprah ain't perfect. I'm quite sure there are an abundance of people, black, white, and beyond, that have had issues with things that Oprah has done that have negatively affected them. But we all know how much positive Oprah generated for so many of us, because she showed us the way in so many ways about how to excel in this industry and in life. Does it have to be that bad? Even after all this time? It's just a question. Something that I want you to think about. Shannon Sharpe had Monique and Cat Williams. I'm not looking for those interviews to interrupt his shine. He get his shine, I'll get mine. But that's my dude. And if he comes across as doing something wrong or doing something that people feel that I should be compelled to comment on, that's why I chose to comment. That's my position. I hope y'all can understand and respect it. And if you don't, you don't. But you know where to find me. This ain't the only Stephen A. Smith show you're going to see. I'll be back with more. That's just how I feel about it. And by the way, I don't mean bitter in a literal sense when it comes to Monique. I'm just talking about the look of it all right now. That fire that's still in your belly. I'm looking at you and I see a brilliant talent that has a whole life ahead of her that can still do great things. And to me, Monique is looking like somebody who feels like she's finished and there are people to blame for it. I don't think you're finished. I think you're great. I think you'll be back. I think you'll do great things, and I can't wait to see you do them. Hell, I'm trying to produce stuff. I'd love to have Monique in it, because that's how brilliant of an actress you are, of a talent you are. So I just wanted to say that. Before I get on out of here, let me get to my tweets here, because today's fan tweets are brought to you by our newest sponsor, SeatGeek. They put all the tickets across the web in one place to make sure you are getting a good deal. So go and download the SeatGeek app and use my code SAS for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code SAS. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app. Let's go to the tweets here. Oh my goodness. The one and only Mina Kimes, my partner in crime on First Take, she tweeted me today. She says, "Who are your top 3 draft picks here, Stephen A?" Let's talk about X-Men, Jubilee, Beast, Rogue, Storm, Cyclops, Bishop, Wolverine. First of all, Wolverine. Let's get that out the way. We definitely going Wolverine, okay? All right? I'm going to do that. I'm going to tell you Beast. I can do that. And how can I go against Storm? When I think Storm, I think Halle Berry. What do you want me to say? I'm not going against Halle Berry. Okay? So we're going to go with Storm, Beast, and of course, Wolverine. I hope you approve, MK. Hope you approve. Next tweet. At Art of SpongeBob. Dear Mr. Smith, if Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob SquarePants were to wear a hat, how would he wear it and why? I'd say I don't know the answer to that question. I would tell you, let's see. I like number 3. I think number 3 looks best. It looks fly. Actually, I take that back. I like number 4. That looks fly. 4 looks fly. I'm going to roll with 4. I'd go with number 4. I like that look. Next one. Next tweet, please. At Will_Will30. Who wins in an eating competition? Homer or Peter? Peter. Look how big Peter is. Who the hell else would win? He looks like he could eat Homer. The hell are you talking about? What kind of question is that? Okay. Let's go with the next one here. At Cantaloupe_FF. Which is the super sandwich? Peanut butter and jelly or grilled cheese? Me personally, I'm going to tell you peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter, protein, that kind of stuff is number 1. Cheese ain't that great for you with your cholesterol. And number 3, all grilled cheese sandwiches don't taste the same. Sometimes the bread can alter the taste, more so with a grilled cheese sandwich than a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You didn't think I know. But your brother Stephen A., he knows. He knows. That's it for today's edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. I got to get on out of here. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll be back tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Until then, thanks again to the one and only Deon Cole and all that content that Club Shay Shay provided. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much. More of the Stephen A. Smith Show coming your way in the days and the weeks to come. Until then, see ya.